So let me try Reinhard. No audio here, as in where's here? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, you can hear me. And you can type there. Okay, so they have problems with the audio. That means I will start the class. Everybody can hear you. So, okay, then welcome everybody to the Global Virtual Classroom, an initiative started by the National Taiwan Normal University in order to make your education a bit more exciting, a little bit more international, and to give you a chance to work together with students from in your case, almost the other end of the world. Taiwan and Germany are pretty far apart. No rights to join speech channel. But you are in the speech channel now. You should be able to talk. No rights to unmute. Okay, let me see. Server mute, ban roles. Let me see. Robot vision. Okay, can you try and unmute now? Yeah, I run the show. I can do that, but it would be nice to hear from you as well. And I don't know why you cannot. I'm not sure why you cannot unmute. Okay, let's go to Robot Vision 2. Just try that. And let me go to Robot Vision 2 as well. No? Okay, so then let me move back to Robot Vision 1. Okay, so you should be able to see my video now and my screen. Okay, and I will bring Reinhard across too, just in case it actually works out. He can... Oh, he's gone now. Okay, I assume that the German students, however, can see me in Rome 223. Is that correct? And the HCR lab? Okay, good. Then I will watch the chat window, and if you have any questions or comments, then type them in the chat window, which I will then be able to answer. Again, the lecture will be recorded. Posted on YouTube later on. And now you can watch it live on Twitch. And we have 37 viewers on Twitch. Okay. So then the idea is for this particular global virtual classroom that that you will get lectures from different professors. That will be me. My name is Jackie Baltes from the National Taiwan Normal University and Professor Gerndt from Ostfalia University in Germany. We will also have a joint project for the students to work on. And in that case, let me see what email I got. And there I think it will be quite exciting because the idea is that the teams will be made up of 2 students from NTNU and 2 students from Ostfalia. That will be tackling a joint problem in robotics. Now, the problem that we'll be working on, that I think is actually a very nice one, a very interesting one, is the Bamboleo problem. I will share my slides so you can follow along. My lecture material is all on Google Collaboratory as Jupyter Notebooks. Now, Bamboleo is a skill game, a dexterity game. The playing field consists of a yellow disc with several game pieces placed on top of it, cubes, prism, cones, and then the entire disc is placed on a cork ball, and then the players have to take pieces off the yellow disc one at a time. If you topple the board, then you lose 4 points. So here's a small video that shows the playing and the review of the Bamboleo game. It's actually, let me just show it.
And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, Zoc makes some fantastic dexterity games. And so I was very intrigued. I've heard about this one for years, Bamboleo, because this game essentially comes with this giant wooden plate that you're going to be balancing wooden pieces upon. Sounds like a lot of fun. I've liked some of the other games like Hamster Roll. Let's see how good this one is. So first you start with this big yellow wooden board, pretty sturdy, and on top of this board you're going to be putting all sorts of objects. Now you'll see on here you have some rectangular prisms, you have some pyramids and cones and cylinders. This one has a hole in the middle. And so you're going to want to put these around it on the outside edges, or spread them out as evenly as you can. Then you have this piece here. This is basically a cork ball on top of this wooden stick, and then we're going to take this and we're going to balance it on top of this. So you're just going to move it around till you feel like it's going to stay there. Whoops. And it's really hard because if stuff slides, then it becomes that much more difficult. So a little bit that way, a little bit that way. There.
So that's a setup of the game. Different small pieces that are placed on the yellow disc. And then the object of the game is to take pieces off alternating. Take pieces off. And whoever takes off the most pieces wins. If you topple the board, then you get penalized.
There we go. So now it's sitting there balanced on a thing. On a player's turn, they're going to just simply take a piece from here and they're going to take it off. You take the piece off and you keep it. Then it's the next player's turn. And they're going to take a piece off and keep it. So I would take this one off. Now usually you're going to want to take a piece off the side that's tilting downward. So maybe the next person takes this piece off. And as you take these pieces off, you're trying to keep the whole thing from collapsing. Eventually, the whole thing is going to...
So eventually it collapses, but you get the point of the game. This particular reviewer, if you actually watch the entire review, he's not very impressed with the game because he said it's too hard.
Now, when it falls down, you lose 4 pieces. If you don't have 4 pieces, you go into negative points. And you're going to keep track of your points that way. So eventually you're going to... I really have a hard time figuring out how anyone's going to get positive points because it falls over so very easily. You can also play a version where you get a scale and you weigh the pieces so that if you take this pretty heavy block, that's much more points than maybe taking this little tiny block here. But then you can set it up again and put the pieces on, and that's how you play. The idea of Bamboleo is sound, right? It's interesting, the balancing the plate on top of it, pulling pieces off as it goes back and forth, right? And everyone's gathered around the table going, whoa, 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 right? And I imagine that in some groups it has been, but this game has been pretty much a disaster every single time, simply because it falls over all the time, all the time, all the time. It's like playing Jenga, and every time someone pulls out the second block, the whole tower falls down. The Jenga's supposed to last for a while, and this game's supposed to last for a while too, because you lose 4 pieces when you knock everything over, which could give you negative score. As soon as it's knocked over, the round's over, one totals up their score, how many pieces they have. Every game I played, I don't think we've ever got past 4 pieces. Every single time. And the rulebook's like, now don't put too many pieces in the middle, it makes it too easy. And we're sitting there going, easy? And it goes, putting the thing on top is not as difficult as it looks. No, it's pretty difficult. It's not like something you can just quit, like Jenga again, compared to that I just set up.
So you can see he's not so particularly pleased with the game. He says it's too hard. So maybe this is a good challenge for a robot. Maybe robots play Bamboleo better than humans. Now, the students from Ostfalia University will join, implement Sawyer robot to play this game. Sawyer is a cobot from Rethink Robotics, single compliant arm, camera, face tablet, and also a camera in the gripper. And that's the robot hardware that is supposed to be able to play this game, which means it has to be able to detect the playing field, detect the pieces, ID the pieces on the playing field, and then plan a motion to move the gripper to the piece that it wants to take off, and then take off a piece from the yellow disc. So that is certainly an interesting and challenging problem for the robot. So we'll see how that goes. So now last week when we looked at it, we already did a little bit of modeling for the game, so you can follow along for the remainder of the slides. You have the various pieces that you need to model, the cubes, the rectangles, the prisms, the cylinder, and the cones. And then the first idea was to implement the various pieces and be able to draw an environment, just so that we can develop a simulation, some code to be able to work with the Bamboleo playing field. So this is implemented in Python using the matplotlib library. I define a class for piece that has a position, which in this case would be a 2-dimensional X and Y position, weight or mass, a color, and a size, and then for the various pieces, routines to draw them on the playing field. Now I don't want to go through this in too much detail. You can have a look at the code. Here and now we can generate some random initial configuration in just 1 dimension, and we have a couple of blue pieces here. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, the higher level strategy actually is quite straightforward. It is not a complexity game or a game where you need to worry about the computational complexity. So it is not like playing chess or playing checkers or Go. In fact, it is quite easily solved using a greedy algorithm. And you can develop some fairly strong heuristics that probably work very well in practice. Even if you don't know the exact weight of the pieces, you can sort of think about it and come up with a reasonable strategy. Because what we have is that at the beginning, the board is perfectly balanced, right? It's not sliding. It's sitting on the cork ball. So that means that the center of mass of all the pieces has to be above the point where the board is touching the cork ball. Otherwise, if the center of mass is not exactly at that point, then it will create a torque and the pivot point will move. Then the board will tilt. If the tilt angle is too high, then as you saw, the pieces will slide off. So that will be difficult. That's difficult to model, that friction. So the strategy then should be to make this more stable, would be to move the center of mass towards the pivot point. And the only move that you're allowed to make is to remove a piece. So the strategy should be to remove the piece so that the center of mass of the remaining pieces is as close as possible to the pivot point, the point that the board sits on at the moment. And there's no complex rules. You could set up a set of complex rules that would make this computationally more challenging, but in the way that the rules are written at the moment, greedy strategy is sufficient. So you simply take the one piece that minimizes the distance between the center of mass and the pivot point. Now, if you cannot calculate the center of mass, then you can do a couple of other things. You can pick a piece from the side that is tilted down, because that's the side that if you remove a piece, then the center of mass is going to move away from that. So the board should tilt more horizontal. And you want to pick pieces that are close to the center or the pivot point, because the moment that you need, the center of mass is the point where the sum of the moments adds up to 0, and the moment is given by the weight and the distance, the product of the weight and the distance. So pieces that are further away from the center have a larger moment because the distance is longer, if the weight is approximately the same for the pieces. So more formally, we can define the center of mass. Center of mass for a set of particles is the point that if you apply a force, you can move the entire set of particles without any torque, without any tilting. If you try and balance a mobile phone or something on your finger like this, then that would be trying to find the center of mass of the in this case the Sony PSP or your iPad or something. But I think in order to play the game with the robot, this may not be strictly necessary. I think it's a pretty strong heuristic to pick the piece that is closest to the center and on the leaning side of the yellow disk. Now the moment is defined as the product of the mass multiplied by the distance between our pivot point and the position of the mass. And then we can actually calculate, prove, or show the formula for calculating the center of mass. It's the point, the x-com, the position of the center of mass, is the point where the moment of the mass I multiplied by the position of particle I, that distance, if I multiply them together and then sum them all up, the center of mass will be, the sum of the moments will be 0. So that's the definition of the center of mass. So we have n different particles in our playing field. Then the mass of the particle multiplied by the distance between the center of mass and the position of the particle. If I sum all of them up, I end up with 0. And then I can solve this algebraically. So we solve for the position of the center of mass, x-com, and that means I can multiply in the mass. So I get mi multiplied by x-com minus mi multiplied by xi. Break it into two sums. So I sum the first part and then I sum the second part and subtract them from each other. Then x-com is a constant. It's not, doesn't depend on I, so I can bring it outside of the summation. And then I end up with the proof of the formula for calculating the center of mass. So for our vision system, that's what we would like to do. And then here's a piece of code that actually calculates the center of mass and shows it in the one-dimensional case here. And then we can come up with a strategy. So in the first round, we have 10 pieces left, and we try all the pieces. So our algorithm will try to remove piece 1, piece 2, piece 3, piece 4, and then checks the piece that if I remove it, the center of mass, the new center of mass, will be as close as possible to 0 as I have it in the program at the moment. So then I remove piece 4, then I remove piece 6, piece 5, so on and so forth. So I don't ever have to do any backtracking here. If I remove piece 0, there's no point to try and do something clever and remove piece 1 and then 3 and then 0 or something. The order in which I remove them does not affect the final center of mass. For removing pieces, the safest move will be the one that moves me closest to the pivot point. So here we just keep doing that, then remove all the pieces. Once I have only one piece left, then of course there's no center of mass anymore. So now what me and Reinhard discussed was that given the fact that the Sawyer robot is in the lab at Ostfalia University, it would, and given the fact that my students are taking the computer vision course, it would make sense if the NTNU students focus on the vision for the Bamboleo game, and the Ostfalia students work together with my students on the vision, and then mainly on motion planning and control in order to be able to pick up the pieces. So in a sense, the NTNU students must recognize the yellow disc, find the position and angle of the yellow disc, find the position and type of the various pieces, and then generate the plan about which piece should be removed. Then the algorithm would return, okay, I want you to remove the prism that is at x 3.7 and y equals 4.0. And then the Sawyer robot must do the motion planning in order to reach and pick up that part of the playing field. So that requires some motion planning, some collision to make sure that you don't run into other pieces while you're trying to pick up one piece on the playing field, and then also a grip planner about how to pick up the cube or the prism. So that's it as far as the introduction is concerned to the first project that we have available. There's also one for the Pepper robot that we can discuss. It is similar, except it is a more manipulation problem. So in that case, the Pepper robot has to use both of its arms to pick up various pieces of the table, which is also a possibility. But personally, I find the Bamboleo problem more challenging and more interesting. Now, as we should, the way that I think we should proceed is, I don't want to run a full 3-hour class here today, which is why I went through the introduction of the project rather quickly, or a little bit quickly, but our goal today should be to sort of get an understanding of what the task is. We did the introduction of the Bamboleo project, come up with a set of teams, 2 students from Ostfalia, 2 students from NTNU, and then come up with a set of plans for our next class, our next meeting, which will be next Monday, so that students can get started working on it. In particular, for the vision task, I think if I had to implement this, I would use a convolutional network. I would use a neural network deep learning approach in order to train the system to recognize the various pieces. There's really no particular good algorithm for detecting cubes and cones and pyramids. So I think it does make sense to use a convolutional neural network for the vision part. Now, The drawback of this approach is the high sample complexity. So you must have lots of training data. And I believe that's something that the Ostfalia students have to help us with. We would need some pictures, quite a few pictures of the playing field taken from the camera of the robot. And that is actually Jackie's first law of robotics. If I haven't mentioned this before, that's one of the quotes that I always say is know your data. So of the, not the camera, of course it's the pictures from the point of view of the camera of the robot. Now I know the Soy, as far as I know, has a camera in the head and the camera in the arm. Hopefully we'll be able to get by with just using the camera in the head, certainly first. So we don't need to move in the gripper and take a closer look. That would be necessary for the gripping part. That may be helpful in the gripping part. Now I also want to suggest another another possibility for generating images. That would be image augmentation of Blender model. So for example, if I change this, let me just start Blender quickly. Oh. What we Blender is a free 3D modeling program, so with that we could generate some sample images. So scale Z 0.05 and make that yellow. we have a yellow piece there. Then I can add a cube. And I then can move upwards. Here we have a cube. Let's move it to here. What else do we want to add? Cone. And I actually don't know about the game what the difference is between the red and the black pieces. If you have the game and it tells you in the instructions, then maybe that will be interesting to have a look at. But here's our playing field. Then we can run a ray tracer, proper 3D model, and then you can generate some sample images, even if you don't have access to the camera of the robot to start working. So let me just save that. Picture from Blender is in the way on Twitch. Oh. Okay. That's weird. So let me just upload the file. If you download Blender, you can just look at the file yourself. Actually, you do have the right window, I think. Ah, yes. I think now, is it working now? And then you can do things like add noise to the image, overlay, introduce various occlusions, and things like that. And I just wanted to upload that file here quickly. So this would be useful too to train your network, I believe. Certainly until you get more training data, more actual images of the playing field. I also suggest And I'm not sure how Reinhard feels about that, but I think my suggestion would be to limit the type of objects first to maybe a couple of types, because they'll be easier to grip than like cubes, pyramids, and what are the ones they have there? Cones are difficult to grasp, so that may not be such a good choice. Those little discs that they had, they would be okay to grasp. And not too many objects on the playing field then. So now I would suggest that we try to form teams. So at the beginning we have Sawyer 1 to 7 chat channels and voice channels, and we also have the Pepper one. So I think the Pepper project, I think we can introduce it next week. It will be from the computer vision point of view, I think it will be fairly similar. You need to be able to detect the various objects. So now I would ask the NTNU students first form groups of 2. And then join one of the voice channels. So you're 1 to 7 or a Pepper 1 to 7. Doesn't really matter. You can ignore the name of the robot on the voice channel. And then the same thing for the students from Ostfalia. Form group of 2. And then join one of the voice channels, where hopefully you will be able to find your partners from NTNU. Then exchange name, emails, things like that. Introduce yourself. Task. Okay. Otherwise, I will have to group students randomly together. Now that means there should only be there should be enough channels, so not we shouldn't have the problem with the limit of 25 members per Discord channel. Once you're in the channel, I will try and join. Okay, yeah, I can see moving students move in. So then the same for the Ostfalia students. Okay, and try to leave it at 2 for now. So let me bring you to Pepper 3. I guess I don't have those. Okay, so Ostfalia, we have 25 students there, so that should make it 12.5 teams, 13 teams. We have 14 rooms, so that should work. I'm worried that I have too many students. Okay, then post your name and email in the corresponding voice in the text channel if you want to, and then you can also introduce yourself on the voice channel. I will go through and join the various channels then to see what's going on. So we still need some students from Ostfalia in Sawyer 1, Sawyer 2, Sawyer 3, Sawyer 4, Sawyer 5, Sawyer 6, Matab. Okay, there's some Ostfalia students there. Pepper 1 is only NTNU students. Pepper 2 is only Ostfalia students, I think. Yeah, so hey, can you two join Pepper 2 instead of Pepper 1? Because there's 2 German students that are looking for partners.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, please do. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, good. So 2 of my students just joined the group Pepper 2. You can introduce yourself and exchange email addresses.
Could they hear our voice? Because they're...
I can hear you. They're deafened though. I don't know why they deafened. You can also send them a direct message.
Oh. Hello?
Okay. Okay, Lucas A now should be able to hear. He's also unmuted, so...
Yes, I am. Hi.
Okay, I can hear you. Good. Nice. Then Pepper 1. All students from NTNU right now. So can you join Sawyer 7?
Oh, Sawyer 7?
Yeah. There's 2 students from Germany waiting there. So everybody in Pepper 1 should join Sawyer 7.
Okay.
Thank you.
Eh? Sawyer 7.
Oh, now
Okay,
they
okay.
just disappeared. Okay, let's see. Sawyer 1. S dot dot. So who's S dot dot? Isn't I thought that's a student from CVUT. Reinhard is now back. Hello? Who are you?
Hello.
Yeah.
He says he's in the class, so he cannot use microphone.
He's in the class. Okay. But he's from Ostfalia?
I am not. Yes, he say from Asphalia. Yes.
Okay, good. Then do you have a partner?
I don't think so.
Okay, then let me see.
Okay.
Okay, then I will get you a partner from NTNU and ask the German student. He also should find one more partner for his group.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay,
just
thank
give
you.
me a minute. I'll try and send somebody to your room.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Sawyer 2. Lots of students from NTNU. Anybody from Ostfalia? 1? Yeah. Okay. So Sawyer 1 still needs a student from NTNU. And here we have too many. So how about Kun or VV? If you join Sawyer 1 as a group. Okay, good. Then you can introduce yourself. We leave you with 3 for now until we have that sorted out. Okay, so now we have 2 NTNU students. So S dot dot, if you could get another student from Ostfalia, then that would be great. Sawyer 2 is still looking for students from Germany. Sawyer 4. Oh, my NTNU students are good at following instructions. Sina, Death White, Bork. Okay. Okay, looks like the teams are now okay. NTNU students that are still in Robot Vision, you should now find a partner. So join one of the rooms, Sawyer 1 to 7 or Pepper 1 to 7, where there's only 2 students from NTNU in that room at that point. Okay, so Sawyer 1, we still need 1 student from Germany. Sawyer 2. Sawyer 2, everybody from NTNU here so far, right? No, Karen, not? Okay, good. Then we would need 1 more student from Australia. Jimmy. Sawyer 3.
应该叫 Isabel 吧，
我中文念法，中文
Okay,
念法。
so
中文念法。OK。
Sawyer 3, I'll try and find some German students for you.
I saw we have 3 students here already. 3 Australia students.
3 Ostfalia students. No, you're
There
all
Yes.
from NTNU.
They are in the
Those 3 students are all left their message on the text channel. So
Okay. Then I would miss it. Yes. Okay. So you already have students from Germany. Okay, good.
yeah, 3 of them.
Okay. Should be 2.
Yeah.
But okay. So then introduce yourself and come up with a plan for how you want to proceed.
Okay.
How come they didn't join the voice channel? The students from Germany.
I don't know.
Okay. I guess you scared them. Okay, good. Then just keep typing the messages. Okay. How we're doing Sawyer 4. Do you have any students from Germany? How come you have 5 students from NTNU? Need 1 more NTNU student, no? Sawyer 4 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students. Sawyer 5, how are you doing? Okay, you have 2 students from Germany.
Yes.
Okay, good. Then introduce yourself. Nice.
Okay.
Then Ostphal Sawyer 6 also seems to is looking good, right? You have 2 students from Germany, 2 students from NTNU. 5 plus 5. Right? Okay, yep, that looks good. Sawyer 6 looks good. Okay, then let me switch to Sawyer 7. Okay, Sawyer 7, how are you doing? You have 1 student from Ostphalia, 2 students from NTNU. Yes? Okay. Okay, Pepper 1, 2 students from NTNU, 1 student from Ostphalia.
Yeah.
Oh, I have another one go
Okay.
to class, so
Okay.
just leave me.
Okay, good. So your Pepper 1 is okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Pepper 2, you look good as well. 2 NTNU, 2 Ostphalia.
They are not convenient to talk because
Okay,
the
you can set up a
environment
time with them afterwards. You just need to know their names and email at the moment.
Okay, we have create a group to
Oh, even
make a
better.
text
Okay.
text conversation.
Okay, very good. Yes, thanks. And Pepper 3 has 2 Ostphalia, 3 NTNU. Okay, we can leave it at that. And then that's fine. I think we may have to rearrange one of the NTNU students to put them all together so that matches two students. Now let me check Pepper 4. 1 student from Ostphalia, 2 students from NTNU. Need 1 more student from Ostphalia. Otherwise Pepper 4 is okay. So introduce yourself, form a group, a chat group, exchange email addresses, come up with a time where you want to meet online. Pepper 5, NTNU, 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 Ostfalia. So would need one more student from Ostfalia, I think. Yep, slowly we're getting there. Okay, Pepper 6. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 NTNU. So some of you will have to move to where? A lot of NTNU students. Okay. Okay, yes. So some of the students still need, some of the groups still need students from Ostfalia, and some of the groups have too many NTNU students. Two Ostfalia students are missing. Sawyer 1, 2, Sawyer 3 maybe. You can share Sawyer 1 is good, I think. So let me go to Robot Vision. So all the groups that you're on now, type your group name and then the number of NTNU and the number of Ostfalia students that are currently in your group. NTNU bits. Yes, and I think getting some sample data, sample images would be quite important. That then everybody can start working, or at least the NTNU team can start working on the vision. Also in the channel then for the group, Sawyer 3. Oh, okay, good. Sawyer 3. Sawyer 1 full from Taiwan. Okay, Sawyer 5, 2, 2. Pepper 1, 2, 2. Okay, that looks good. Sawyer 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, Sawyer 3. How many students? Okay. Pepper 3 plus 3. Uh, Three NTNU and 3 Ostfalia. Three each. Okay. Yep. Okay, if you're NTNU and you don't have a group yet, then pick one of the groups that only has 2 NTNU students at the moment. 4 NTNU students that do not have a group yet. Join a group with only 2 NTNU students at the moment. So some of the groups had 2 NTNU, like Sawyer 2, you can join them. Sawyer 1, Sawyer 4, Pepper 5, Pepper 2. Okay. Sawyer 3. Michael. Let's see where we are. Oh, now they're gone. Yes, there's. How come this one has a tag? Pinned message or something?